Hello and welcome to the HITC 7's Q&A to celebrate the channel reaching 200,000 subscribers. This video has been a long time coming ever since the channel reached 200,000 subscribers, not least because I didn't actually have a camera at that time, but it's here now, so I'd like to thank you all for your patience and for your support in helping the channel reach this milestone. Between the YouTube community and on Twitter, there were over 750 questions put to me in total, so it's unlikely that I'm going to be able to answer them all right now, but I'll do my best to answer some of the most frequently asked and those that received the most likes, and I'll probably split the video into two parts to prevent it from being quite so long. This is my first time doing a video to camera like this, so it will inevitably be awful, and if the audio sounds a bit off, that's because I'm recording downstairs when I normally record upstairs. Nevertheless, if this video and this type of video proves to be popular, I'd be happy to do it more often, since it saves me actually having to come up with any ideas, do any research, or any writing. Right, without further ado, I'll get into some of the questions that you put to me. Okay, so there were quite a lot of questions about how I ended up doing what I do. I first started properly writing about football probably in December 2014, so I'd finished school that year earlier on, and I'd planned on taking a year out, but I ran out of money pretty swiftly in the south of France, so I came home and I started writing for a Canadian website. I was pretty much their only sort of football writer, and it was supposed to just be a stopgap. The plan was after a year to go to university, but then I set my own website called A Halftime Report that was sort of about historical and quirky stories from the world of football, and that ended up doing pretty well. And in 2015 I won an award as the best young football blogger at the Football Blogging Awards. And from that I got a few job offers, and I started to think maybe there's no point in going to university. And I turned down a couple of jobs, talked to a few different companies, and then eventually HITC, I could work from home, so there were a few perks to that, and that's how I ended up at HITC. Right, a whole heap of people asked how I got into YouTube, whether I'd always wanted to be a YouTuber. I can honestly say the answer to that is no, and also a lot of people said what inspired you to be a YouTuber. Nothing really. Basically how it came about is whilst I was writing for HITC on the website, my boss asked me to start writing scripts for the HITC Sport channel that was pretty new at that time, and some of the scripts that I wrote, some of those videos ended up doing pretty well. And I think it was after about 9 months, he said, would you set up your own channel instead of other people doing your videos, you do your own ones? And I said yes, more fool me. Oh, and also a lot of people asked why HITC 7s. Basically, we wanted it to be somewhat different to the sport channel. My boss suggested HITC 5s, 5 this, 5 that, but I thought 5s and 10s were a little bit cliche, so being the maverick that I am, I came up with HITC 7s. Right, there were so many questions about the Irish guy that I thought I'd best make it a subsection of itself, and also write them down, otherwise there's no way I'd remember them all. The main one was, what are your opinions of the Irish guy? Get on with him, he's alright. Will you ever do a collaboration or swap channels? I don't envisage us ever swapping channels, no. A collaboration has been talked about a fair few times, but there's a slight logistics problem in that we both work from home and we live nowhere near one another, but I'd say it's possible, yeah. Do you personally know the Irish guy? So, funny story, the Irish guy actually originally applied for a job at HITC at a time when I was helping my boss out by doing some of the recruitment side of things. So, say there were 30 job applications, I'd talk to 30 of them, and then I'd say, these are the 10 best, and he'd talk to those 10, and then finally hire whoever he thought was any good. So I believe it was my recommendation, I think I've got the email somewhere, that said that Irish guy would be a worthwhile hire. So if you're a fan of HITC Sport and the Irish guy, you have HITC 7s to thank for that. No, clearly not. Jealous? I wouldn't say particularly so. He has more subscribers than me, but then has been going a little while longer, so not particularly would be my answer. No, we're not related. I have no Irish in me as far as I know. No. I have never met him. No, I have never actually met anyone that I work with. I'm essentially a hermit that hasn't seen the outdoors for about 3 years. I'm not sure who would win in a fight. That's a ridiculous question. Absurd. This is a question I've been asked ever since I started the channel, so inevitably crops up quite a lot of times in the Q&A. What team do I support? Who are you a fan of? That type of thing. I am a Hull City fan. I was born in East Yorkshire. My dad's a Hull City fan. Started going to Boothry Park when I was about 6 years old, and then when I was about 7 we moved to the EKC, or now the KCOM Stadium, and that's when I first got a season ticket, and I've been a Hull City fan ever since. And the reason why it has taken about 2.5 years for me to say that is because I always thought if people knew who I support, they might perceive some bias. So I'm happy to say that although a few people figured it out, particularly after I brought my book out and they Googled me, prior to that, I was accused of supporting and disliking just about all of the 92 Football League clubs. But no, I am indeed a Hull City. I don't really have any particular opinion on Football Daily either way. Hamill from Football Daily tweeted me once asking if I'd go on Stat Wars. Don't know if that was a serious request. I think the Irish guy I saw is going on there at some point. No, I don't have a rivalry with them. I disagree with the video they did about Pele once, but I'm not sure that constitutes a rivalry. Okay, so quite a lot of people asked about Paul McShane. I think some of them might have thought I was the Irish guy, whilst others just seeing if I had a difference of opinion. And as someone who does know, I'm a Hull City fan, pointed out, obviously Paul McShane did spend a bulk of his career playing for the Tigers. He was awful when he signed for us. He was really out of sorts playing as a right back, and Phil Brown got rid of Sam Ricketts, who had been a pretty good servant to the club, and it looked like his Hull City career was dead in a ditch, to borrow a phrase. And then he came back after he went on loan, I think it was to Crystal Palace, and he became a bit of a cult hero. He played as a centre back rather than a right back, where he was much better. And he had his own chant. He was a good servant to Hull City, was Paul McShane, and a thoroughly decent bloke. As for Henri, again, don't know if some people thought it was the Irish guy and I was going to dislike Henri. Personally, I have no emotional feelings either way. Fantastic player, came in my 100 greatest footballers of all time video, which you should probably watch after this. People are always asking what does HITC stand for. It stands for Here is the City. That is because HITC, the website, was originally a finance and business website founded in, I believe, the year 2000. That could be wrong. And then it evolved into politics, culture, sport, and then football. And then now it is, I think, 90% football. So yeah, HITC, Here is the City. I do own a scarf, yes. There is the proof. Don't tend to wear it indoors though. Don't like to be a show off, but I do have heating. Someone said I needed a distinctive item of clothing for the video. Suggested wearing gloves. Seems a bit odd to me. That's it for part 1 of my HITC7's Q&A. There are actually a whole heap more questions, so it might even be 3 or 4 parts rather than 2, but We'll just see how many I answer. Thank you all for watching and for sending in questions. I know this probably wasn't the best video format-wise. Probably take a bit of time to get used to, but let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you again for helping the channel reach 200,000 subscribers.